Okay, so I teach math, and I will say that math has been undergoing scrutiny about what technology we should allow. I've talked about calculators. We also went through the math way and photo math. And when I was doing photo math, or when photo math was out and I was trying to teach, they were just snapping pictures, getting the answer, writing it down. And I'm like, well, how can I do something different? Well, one of the things I had to do was I had to go get photo math, and I had to write my test and see what it did. You have to experiment with the AI to understand what students are getting when you assign something to them. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound terrible, but if we're just asking them low level questions like, what is the atomic number of hydrogen, then AI is pretty good. It's not gonna you know hallucinate, I think is the word they use. It's not gonna hallucinate. It knows the atomic number of hydrogen, and we just type that in. But one of the things that I notice when I'm teaching different subjects, because I'm not just certified in math, I'm certified in physics, middle school science, middle school math, business, PE, just because um, technology and engineering, those are Missouri certifications. I think I have 7. I may have missed one. But I see different ways when I teach business concepts in classes like that. Some of the things I'm asking are so low level that, am I really pushing the student, or am I just seeing what they've memorized as far as the definition of the term supply and demand curve? Which direction does supply go? Which way does demand go? Is it increasing or decreasing? Those are things that I worry about, and I have asked those particular questions um, to basically understand what the student remembers about supply and demand, so that I can ask them a tougher question. Because if they don't know what a supply and demand curve looks like, me going further and more complex about what happens if supply increases, the what happens to the demand curve, where does the point of equilibrium happen, and all these are just jargon for the class I teach. But in the end, what we need to know is, what are students doing? So let's just take a look. One of the things that I teach in earth science is the Big Bang Theory, that um, this is a possible explanation of stuff. And so in Google, I can type in Big Bang, and I get a TV show. That's fantastic. Not exactly what I'm looking for. So, doesn't know exactly what I want. So I got to go Big Bang Theory science. Let's see. All right. So when I talk about the Big Bang Theory with my students, and they go to the Google and they type in Big Bang Theory, they get the show, they put science or some other word up there to get them. Notice the first thing they're seeing is AI. That all the tools that we use in the real world, AI. So it doesn't matter what your belief is in AI. Should we or shouldn't we? It's the calculator problem 25 years, 26 years later for me. So I've been down this road. Do we use it? Do we not use it? Well, how can we use it better? So if they're getting AI in the thing that you approve of, Google, then we really have to deal with the issue of AI. Now, here it's going to tell me a bunch of stuff. And can I read that? Explanation of the theory, the beginning, 13.7, expansion, singularity, cooling and information, structure formation, so on and so forth. Well, I don't want them to read AI because it's terrible. Well, if I go to the CK12 website, which is just a free collection of online textbooks for various uh, subjects. They have a lot of great interactive stuff. Try it if you're in this part. Flexi automatically comes up. Guess what the Flexi is? AI. Ask me anything. I'm going to turn Flexi off because that's not what I want at the moment. And if I'm like, oh, they need to read legitimate sources. Okay, we're in the same group. Come down here. We're starting the time the universe began, Big Bang Theory, after the Big Bang Theory. Notice still got 13.7 billion years. After the Big Bang, first few moments, unimaginably hot and dense. And after a few seconds, protons, neutrons, electrons could form. That gave us the hydrogen. And after nuclear fusion began, we got some helium. Fantastic. All of that is here. So why do we have to send them to a textbook? Now, people want to go, well, they need to read it. They need to be able to discern it. But what in the end we really want as teachers is, hey, that's a textbook. I'm going to trust the textbook. It's had some scrutiny put behind it. Well, AI doesn't get this big if there's no scrutiny behind it. There is hallucinations. The poorer the prompt, the more hallucinations it gets. Or if you confuse it, because it doesn't know anything. AI doesn't know anything. It doesn't even know what it's sending you. But the algorithm that they use and the mathematics behind it and the predictability, it does. It does put it together so that it is coherent. And a lot of the stuff is true, but we have to discern. I agree. We have to discern the good and the bad. As with even the Wikipedia, that a lot of people, when I was teaching over the years, they're like, oh, I hate Wikipedia. I don't want students using Wikipedia. I used it to get the stuff at the bottom where the references are. That's where I went when I had to write a paper, so that I was using the good references. It just showed me a quicker way to find references. And here, things to know. We go to NASA. Do we trust NASA? The .gov? We do. Do we Institute of Physics, the .org? And then maybe we go to space.com, and people were like, .com? That's terrible. We can't trust that. But we love the .govs. We love the .govs. So we had to discern a lot in the Google a long time, for the 26 years. I think they've been using Google 26 years. Maybe not. I don't know how old Google is anymore. I should probably Google that. But we have to realize that the stuff they give us in the AI overview is the thing that it knows. And we could go to a textbook and have them go, hey, this is much better stuff because it's in a textbook. We don't live in that. The school was where the books used to be. When the school was, we had these textbooks. Anybody who remembers textbooks remembers that math books were $180 a piece for a school. That was an investment when you had 400, 500, 1,200, 2,500 students, because math, it seemed like every student was in a math class. So you had to have 2,500 textbooks on campus to teach math. Then they started doing classroom set, and people who needed them could check one out. We didn't give it to all of them. It's a cost. Textbooks were a cost. But the reason schools exist is because that's where the books were kept, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But again, all the stuff in a textbook that we've converted from the hardback thing that we used to hand every student at the beginning of the year is changed into a digital. And the digital now is perfect, right? Perfect. And so what we have here is, and then it's like, what is cork soup? Well, that's fun. Summary, nice. And that was where I lived in school too, by the way, the summary. This is basically what I memorized, try to get through any test. Then it has some review questions, like, hey, can you answer these questions? That'd be fantastic. So, but did it give you answers to those? So if the student's like, if the universe is now expanding, why must it have been? Why must it once have been a point? Well, student gets no feedback there. Student doesn't get any feedback. So what are we doing here? What evidence is there the universe began in a Big Bang? Student can answer, where's the feedback? Oh, okay. Let's make sure the student writes it on a piece of paper. Let's make sure the student writes it on a piece of paper, writes that answer, gives it to the teacher. The teacher's supposed to grade it. 150 students in a high school. Go ahead, get those 3 times 150. That's 450 explanations that you have to read through and then grade a day. If this is all you talk about, maybe you give them 2 lessons with something of this nature, 6 questions, 6 times 150, 900 problems you got to grade then a day. So we're into this efficiency thing. As a math teacher, I assign work, I grade work in the classroom. I don't take any grading home with me. On test day, I grade in the classroom. Student gets it done, hand it back. I don't grade at home. Haven't in 20 years. When I was a new teacher, naive, everybody handed in, take it home, graded 1 question at a time for 150 students. Now they turn it in, I grade it, move on, move on, move on. By the time class is over, everybody's graded, everybody knows what they got on it, everybody knows what their current grade is in the class. I've learned how to be efficient to get them that. Now, when it comes to science, it's a whole different ballgame because I got to grade sentences. I got to grade those type of things. So, it takes more time. If there was only an instrument that I could use to save a little time. Oh, Google Forms came along. Oh, we could grade all the questions at the same time when it came in. I could be 1 day behind. Just grade. I give the assignment today while they're doing their assignment. I'm grading yesterday's work. Well, now I'm taking time away from the students. So we get into this constant where do I find the time as a teacher? And I believe AI can help us in that manner. Now, should we let AI grade it? I don't know. I enjoy reading students' thoughts. I teach for light bulbs. When light bulbs go off and go, oh, that's what I teach for. That's my energy. That's why I like lower level classes versus upper level classes. You get more light bulbs in the lower level classes, the pre-algebras, the algebra ones. When you get to pre-calc and above, those people are just like, hey, just do your little thing up at the board and now shut up, let me work. I got the back of the book to check every other answer. We move on. And that's fair. Less light bulbs to see in the upper level stuff. So my thing is like we get into this and we can let them read. What happens if we put Big Bang Theory, and I'll just copy exactly what I put here, Control C, type it in, put it right in here, Control V. And notice the Big Bang Theory, here we go, 13.8 billion years ago. It says 13.7 over here. Maybe we've rounded up now. Then goes through the explanation. So it might venture off by 100,000 years. That's fine. That's fine. It's within the error of margin. Cosmic background, or cosmic microwave background, redshift formation of elements. Notice it has the hydrogen and helium right in here. Doesn't talk anything about neutrons, protons, and electrons, and then over 1 billion years, gravity drew matter together, formed galaxies and eventual planets. Evidence supporting this, Hubble's law tells them abundance of light elements like hydrogen and helium, why it matters, and then it asks, would you like help designing a classroom activity or lesson plan? ChatGPT knows I'm a teacher. They just know I'm a teacher, and there's nothing that will change that, I guess. But again, the idea here is it gives them the highlights, and I'm pretty sure that if you would deep dive into this information versus this information versus this information, there's not much difference. The problem is, how do we gauge the learning? Because no one can say that if you give them a textbook, they're going to learn. No one can say that if you give them access to Google, that makes it better because you have engaged them in some form of technology. And then the claim is with ChatGPT, well, they don't have to think. They just do this. They don't have to read this and be able to discern the information that's important to what's not. So everything has a valid argument in why these things are different. But I would contend that there is the most subtle of differences between the two of these in today's world. When AI was first invented, maybe we could argue. We could have a good, firm discussion, and you could probably try to convince me that AI was bad in the beginning. I agree. And everything that evolves and gets better, gets better. And if it didn't get better, it wouldn't be here today. They would not be doing this. AI would not have so many platforms. It has a purpose. And in post school, when they go get real jobs in the real world, and that's where our concern is, it's necessary, because if you want to be paid more, you got to be able to do more. You know, the teaching world's a whole different world. If all the teachers that are hired this year all get paid the same amount of money, doesn't matter how hard they work. You get those ones that make Teacher of the Year by October, and you have those ones that never make Teacher of the Year, all paid the same their entire career. Nothing changes. But in the real world, outside of education, when you get to a position and you're able to do the work of 3 people, companies are like, well, if he could do the work of 3 or she could do the work of 3, why not pay them their salary plus 50%? And save the cost of another 2 employees, because it's not just the salary. It's not just going from 50,000 to 75,000. It's insurance, which is out of control. It's retirement matching. It's all this stuff, because my 401k or 403b or whatever it is, they match up to 5%. If I put 5% of my income into my retirement plan, they will match that 5%. Their matching is based on that 5%. If I put 15%, they don't match. But if 3 employees each put 5%, that's a 15% match. Efficiency is imperative in the business world. Furthermore, if we remember history at all, we remember this country when it first started, and don't quote me for 100% on these, and probably I should do more research, but the last number I knew, about 40% of our nation was farmers. Over time, tractors have replaced a lot of those workers. Combines, name the tractor, it's replaced a person. We don't have horses out there with the plow with Charles Ingalls out there, making crops. Charles Ingalls doesn't have a job in today's world as a farmer, but farming still happens in a high capacity because we have the technology to do it. It takes fewer people. We can divert that capital asset somewhere else to do better business. That's just the way it is. So as a teacher, we need to be able to harness the power of technology, which we have been doing. We've had the Google. We have online books, but now we have AI. So as we move forward, I'm going to show a little something. The next video is what can we do with this? And I'll just show a simple example of what to do, of what I have done, I guess, for this particular idea of AI versus the textbook versus the Google, the .gov, the .edu, the .com, the .info, which we can't even keep up with the dots, .net. Anyway, so my next video, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to show you something in these videos that can be useful. But again, it's a tool, it's a type of activity that has its moment. It's not something you should do every single time because students will get tired of doing the same thing every single time. They like routine. But if that's all they're doing and all they see is AI, if everything you do is AI as a teacher, then it will lower the respect, what word am I looking for here? That students go, oh, he has knowledge. But if everything they do is on AI, they're going to lose that respect, that holding you in high esteem for the knowledge that you have. If all you're doing is something on AI, it could be a task every day. I get it, but at some point, the teacher still needs to be first and foremost in the classroom. Maybe that's a narcissism in me. I don't know, but that's where we're going.